First of all, congratulations to the cross country teams. Great performance this past weekend. Exciting time of the year with all the fall teams. So much success across the board heading to postseason and both hockeys and wrestling getting started. So I mean, this is just a fantastic time of the year. Real pleased with the weekend, going to the Michigans and having really gutting out a win against an elite Michigan squad on Friday, and then turn around the next night and be able to win in 3 against Michigan State. Felt certainly really good about the outcomes of both of those, and back at home, and probably as challenging of a 2-game stretch as we'll see this year. Minnesota team that has only lost 2 sets in the Big Ten, where everybody else, nobody has lost fewer than 3 matches all year. So they've lost fewer sets than anybody else has lost matches. So it's just been an incredible Big Ten season against for those guys up to this point. And then we turn around and play Michigan again, who we were just in a 5-set slugfest with them a few days ago. So excited about the week in front of us and the opportunities that we have.
Dennis?
Been able to watch Minnesota and getting to this point. What makes them so good? What separates them right now, or has separated them to this point?
Yeah, they don't give you much. You've got to earn everything against them. It's because they're just not going to give points away from behind the service line or passing. They're not going to make a lot of attack errors, net violations, that type of stuff. They play really clean, and you've got to play a clean game against them. And and then the people that have come in that have filled in have done a fantastic job. Their freshmen have done have played a cleaner game than what most freshmen do. I mean, they've come in there and anybody's capable of going off offensively on any given night. But they're balanced, they're well coached, and they don't give you a whole lot. And so they've got. They've got a 4-year starting setter running the show, who has got a lot of experience and puts them in good situations. So I think the combination of that is, they certainly seem to be a team that's humming on all cylinders right now.
You playing more clean volleyball, crisply? Do you like how you're playing?
There's elements of our game that I think we are doing a really good job of. I think one of the things we've got to get better at is we're giving up long runs of points too much. The one thing that I think we're doing a better job is we're kind of sticking with it. When teams are going on runs of points, and that's allowing us to kind of stay in the fight, if you will, where those things aren't knocking us out. And that's how we were able to come up with a win at Michigan. I mean, there was long runs on both teams, and sometimes those things just happen. But we're sticking with it, and that's giving us a chance of just knowing, hey, yeah, somebody may be going on a long run on us right now, and this is this seems to be about a 4 or 5 minutes, I don't know. Shellacking here, but of understanding that most of these matches are going an hour and a half to 2.5 hours long, and so if we can kind of stick with it, that it gives us a chance, especially in our sport when, you go to 25 and you start from 0 again. So sometimes you can recover from those long stretches where maybe what we weren't doing earlier was we'd get so frustrated that would just turn into not 4 or 5 minutes, where it was kind of frustrating, but it would bury us maybe for the rest of the match. And so I think we're staying in the fight a lot better. But the one thing we've got to get better at is we've got to limit these runs of points that people are getting off on us, and that's a work in progress right now.
Tiffany Clark's been a different player the last 2-3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of up and down earlier. She talked about trying to adjust her mental approach? Is it more, what do you see in her now that you probably knew was there but wasn't coming out before all the time?
Yeah, Tiff has been fantastic. I mean, this is, we're probably 3 weeks or so of her playing the best volleyball of her career. And, I see a player that is a very, very confident and playing within herself. And I think when you have confidence and you're playing within yourself, you're maybe not as frantic. You're not trying to do too much. I think there's probably more trusting of her teammates, a little bit of and an understanding of them, of what they're going to do, what balls that they're responsible for, and which ones she is. And so, her work ethic has never ever been questioned. I mean, she's ready to go every single day. So it's not it's not, hey, she got subbed out of the libero position for a match and a half, and now all of a sudden she's working harder. That has never been the case with her. I think she's calmer, and I think she's slowing things down, and she's always been possessed, if you will, on the court, and certainly mean that in a good way. I mean, the kid is always locked in, but sometimes when you're redlining it, when you're revved up that engine, that you can get yourself out of control. And she's doing a really, really good job of understanding herself, of not redlining, but of just being locked in, being calm, reading, balanced. She's in a real good place. I think she's an example of, when your athletes are confident, the level that you can play in. And I think she's as confident as I've ever seen her.
You have an interesting stretch here, wrapping up the Big Ten, 4 home matches, then 4 road matches. How do you kind of get through these home matches to get some momentum heading into the road?
Well, I think it was what Tony was talking about early, is that you don't get ahead of yourself. It's, you focus on what you have in front of us. We are playing 2 teams that we are familiar with somewhat, and you put your attention on what we have. And so it is, it's those 2 teams. But I think more than that, I think there's a focus in on what are we doing right now. Can we sharpen up a little bit more of our own game? And although we've got, a couple really challenging opponents in front of us, sometimes you can put too much of your energy and your focus on who's on the other side of the net. And if you can just kind of clean up what is on your side and figure out what it is that you do well and try to get better at that, that may be the better focus. I don't think that we're certainly not going to take here's our 8 matches, or here's 4 and 4 on the road. It is, all right, we've got Minnesota in front of us, and then we'll have Michigan back behind them, 2 teams that we're familiar with, but let's put our focus in on what we've got to do to play as clean of a match as we possibly can.
You've talked in the past about some of the dominating left sides that have hurt you this year. Your own lefts have that same capability. They've shown it at times, but haven't been as consistent. Do you see that evolving as the season's gone along, from primarily Grace and Molly, that they can do to other teams what some others have done to you?
Both of them have the ability of going off. I look at it as more of a team thing than just our left sides. I mean, typically when we're giving up long runs of points, a lot of times it's because our ball control just has been inconsistent, and then we put them in tough situations. Sid is running all over the place, and the defense is set up against those guys, and it's. We're trying to get the ball. Madison has been playing at such a high level this year that she's taken a lot more attempts. Certainly when we're in system, away from what our lefts typically would. Our middles have been playing at such a high level. Dana, especially, just the past few weeks has just been playing at a really high level. That when we're getting good balls, more times than not, those other guys are taking it, and so naturally, what's left over, the hitting percentage is going to be lower. The defense is set up, and you're probably not getting as quality of sets when the setter's all over the place. So that, I don't think that's to be unexpected. I think the bigger thing with when we're getting up those runs of points is we've got to be in system more consistently, or maybe better worded, that we can't go in those long stretches where we're out of system. Our passing numbers are pretty decent, but we've been really streaky in that department. And when you're streaky and you're going those cold spells where you're not passing the ball really well, then that's really putting a massive burden, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but a lot going out to those left pins. And so I think we can help them out by passing the ball better than maybe what we've been.